Hello, people. Today, I wanted to talk about being great, but being great for life. And what I mean by that is that I have met a lot of people in my life who were, who still are great, in their little space. And they were great with their helpful selves, and they were great for life. Now, what does it really mean? It means that wherever you exist, whether it is at a workspace, whether it is at a community, a neighborhood, a building, you are the person who is the most resourceful, who is the most knowledgeable, who is the most approachable, who knows how to talk to people, kind, generous, selfless. The person is always going beyond her space to help others out, and of course making sure that others problems get solved, and at the same time being able to return home from that particular place and tell your parents or whoever you care for that you know I have done this, I have helped this person out, I have done this much for that person. And this phenomena in psychology is called the savior complex. Now, why do I think that being a savior in today's world is not just enough and can eventually put you back into a very rough and a very sad space in life? Now, let us assume that you live in a neighborhood where there are a few people who are just okay with their lives, okay? That they have the usual problem that you have, and it can also be an office space, okay? Where your, your colleagues have the same kind of problem that you have, okay? The next set of people, your, you know, next set of colleagues are the people who are extremely helpless. And then the next set of people are the people who are just above the average level of being. For example, they're resourceful, they understand how life is, and they cater to the requirement of life, and they help others through their work, and they wake up just to understand these few things. That is, when I have something, some responsibility, some duty at hand, and I get those things done, irrespective of what the weather is, what the other people are telling, what I feel, what breakfast I had today, etc., etc., I help my community, I help my workspace to grow. I help my workspace in this modern time of extreme uh, polar existence. Like, you know sometimes I feel that whether or not tomorrow there will be something which will be, you know we whether or not whether we will have something to look at and feel that it is okay to be mediocre. Like, I live in a place, I mean, I live in uh you know a city where people are known to be a little laid back. They are known to be, like, they are these heavy thinkers. Not now as much as it was back then, but here people are known to be heavy thinkers. Like, we love art, we love to have a heavy discussion over a cup of tea or coffee, etc., etc. But the same people today, they have evolved over and above, and they have moved out from that space of confidence, not just comfort. Now, why do I think that people of this category, the people who know that there is something that is to be done, okay, they still will not do it, but are always out there to help to get things done for others, solving one, maybe one or the two colleagues are having a fight, they will out there to tell that what needs to be done. Maybe one colleague is telling that this is something that I do not agree with, they will go there and mitigate the issue, they are philosophical. Okay. And uh, they are also always present at one space or the other, at certain meetings, at certain parties, till the time they are not required. They are present till the time they are not required. Why? Because mediocrity and life below average will soon become a very sorry state of life. And if you are looking at this video, if you are looking at this and you are listening to this, then I must put it across to you that, you know, if you are this kind of people who always finds oneself to be out there helping other people's out, etc., etc., first of all, please understand that there are other things, other seriously important things that you can make a contribution to, and you can come back to your space of work, wherever it is, and you can continue life as is. Now, for example, you are a person who belongs to that cluster of people, that savior group, okay? And I don't know, since I have already mentioned that in psychology it is called savior complex, where you just want to help somebody out. You look at someone and you feel, and whenever you notice that there is a problem, you have to jump right there and you have to solve the issue. Okay. But sometimes it is just not possible. Now consider, okay, like go through this mental uh, thinking at times. Okay, consider that you are in this place where you are seeing that you know a few colleagues of yours are having a deep argument where you sense that the argument might go wrong, and and maybe one or two of those people are your friends and they're fighting against each other. And you feel like it is your responsibility, it is your duty to stop them from having that argument. Okay, to restore peace in the situation, to restore that fine, space, that fine balance, and be zen, spread the positivity. Now what happens? You get up from your work, you help them out, you tell them what is it happening, and you like, stop the whole situation, and you get carried away. Then the next time you see that there is this another colleague who who badly needs some help. Okay, maybe the person is sick, maybe the person has to say something to you, and you feel like there is a knot in your stomach where you just can't function, you know unless and until you are being helpful, you are being a listener, you are being someone who carries a bit of their load. But why is it that despite being helpful, you are not helpful, you are not I mean, soon you realize that you are receiving certain phone calls where people are there, they are asking for your presence, for your help, but slowly you are losing out on life, you are losing out on money, time, and things that are just not, you know, I mean, things that you just can't do without. For example, when you notice that there is a problem out there, you can do three things. You can either solve it, but before you even get to the space of solving it, you can just ask yourself that is it something that I really want to engage myself? There are chances that you will find that yes, you want to engage yourself in this problem. But then you should ask yourself, like, should I engage? Should I leave my workplace and get up and help somebody? Okay, now, how will the world look without being helpful? The world will look maybe a little tough, maybe a little sad, but then sometimes when you find yourself in this space where you are just not sure, okay, whether you should compromise on your work day, your productivity, your sense of happiness, the reason why you are at this space, and you should just go up, attend that phone call, you should just go up and attend that thing, then I think you should choose what needs to be done, your duty. Okay, just ask yourself that is it okay to help somebody and not be that fine? Okay, is it okay to be able to help somebody and not be that productive? Is it okay to help somebody and not be that useful in life? I mean, see, this is the paradox. When you are trying to help somebody, okay, you are also trying to be important, you are trying to be helpful, you are trying to be generous, resourceful, caring, etc., etc. But what does this sphere of existence require? It requires money, right? Life from the very first hour requires sustenance, requires money, right? Especially if you are a human being. Now, when I mean, you just look at a very random thing, okay? Like yesterday, I was, like putting water on one of my plants, and I started to notice that there is this little ant which is trying to run away from the water. And of course, I did not notice unless it started to, writhe, and it started to move like in a very chaotic way, move its legs, etc., etc. And I immediately stopped pouring the water. I used a paper and I took that little ant out of that space and I put it in a drier mud where it can be saved. Now, let's say you are somebody that generous who can take the ant from that space, okay, and you need to understand that when you have this little ant under your wings, you have to feed it, you have to care for its safety, especially because it is an ant. You have to care for its well being, you have to care for its everything. Now, unfortunately, we always can't help everyone. Why? Because there are some people who are just not capable or willing to understand few things that are the truths of life. Okay, what is the truth of life? Now, I have to ask this to myself again and again, that If today I can, you know, for example, when I see somebody being in a very helpless, in a helpless situation, what do I do? I just, the first thing is to stop the person from being helpless and helpless, okay? And the whole cycle should go back to their their parents, and it's a very sad and sorry state of life, okay? Their parents, their surroundings, the kind of childhood they had. And if a person does not really will to come out of something that they are not capable of understanding or doing, or not being able to relate to, they will become helpless. They will become the odd one out, and one after the other, they will be able to miss out on opportunities, miss out on good things in life, miss out on a good circle of friends, miss out on productive and workable people. And eventually what will happen, they will become the ones who will constantly be in need of help, okay? Like, and I don't know what to say. See, if I am like a very black and white person, I should have been able to say that stay away from these people, okay? But honestly speaking, sometimes there are moments when we find that even our friends are in that space. Sometimes even I was in that space, okay, where I constantly needed help. I'll be honest with you, okay? I There was a time when I constantly, like, I went, I mean, decision paralysis is a huge thing in life. Like, I would wake up and I would think and rethink about what is it that I should say to a person? What is it that I should mention to someone? What is it that I should, uh, be connected to with another person? But eventually, I learned that that was a very mistaken way of life, and it causes a lot of mistaken identity. Okay. Similarly, you know, I also started to notice that even my parents were getting in a very tricky space in life because of these habits of mine, because of my, uh, capability of, I mean, because of my stubborn nature of not, you know, uh, being able to say no to a person who is rather toxic or negative. Then again, sometimes I would find my parents extremely worried about me, about what is it, what kind of friends I am keeping with, what is it that those people are telling me. And because I had a serious, I mean, you can imagine that while I was the one who seriously needed help, I was also a person with a huge amount of savior complex. Now, what happens when you have a huge amount of savior complex? Okay. First of all, please understand that at any given point of time, the person who needs the most amount of help is yourself. Okay. People who have extreme amount of savior complex, they find themselves in a mental space where they are constantly looking for problems so that they can go out and help. Now, how did I stop myself from being like that? I told myself that, okay, I have a capability and a knack to be able to help people out, but then how about understand the basic realities of life that, you know, in this day, today, everybody takes out some time, to 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 straighten up with the basic requirements of life: food, water, your shelter, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your family members, etc., etc. Most importantly, your relationship with yourself. Okay. Now, when I got these things correct and in place, I made it a point that I'm not going to compromise on a rather productive day and prioritize somebody else's need. But does that make me selfish? I had this question again and again in my mind. Does that make me selfish? Well, it does. It does make me a lot selfish than an average human being out there. Okay, it does make me a lot selfish. But how about I just accept life as is and I continue to be a little bit more selfish? Okay, and I start to, I told myself that is it okay that I earn a lot of money? Okay, be productive, be more selfish with myself. I earn a lot of money and I give away my money to those people who have rather been very, you know, how can I tell? Selfish with their parents because they didn't work on their studies, they didn't work on themselves. Then again, selfish with their community because they didn't choose the right things in life and they fell into the trap of being lost, being that lost generation. Then again, selfish with maybe even themselves because I mean, not selfish, but betrayal. I think I should not say selfish, but I think I should say a bit of betrayal. Like they betray themselves in choosing the wrong things in life. Like just imagine this friend of yours who is at that bad space in life because of the wrong choices they made could have been your work best friend. Instead, these people have the capability of taking you out of your workspace, taking away your identity from life, taking away your source of income from you, 2 to 3 hours from your productivity gone because you had to solve their marital issues, because you have to solve, their educational shortcomings, etc., etc. Maybe even financial issues. Maybe even they made you visit that space with them because they had to buy something, but it meant nothing for you. And why did you do all that? You did all that because you believed that this is friendship. Well, this was the idea of friendship long back, long back. Okay, this was the idea of friendship long back. I remember I have seen a lot of people, in a very rustic and rural idea. They are just whiling about. They are just playing games. They are just, like playing cricket, gully cricket. They are just playing football with a round, like with a round, like they have this paper and plastic and they have made a whole uh, football out of and they're playing around with it. Now, why do I think that it is important for us to even have a word with ourselves and understand that it is just not okay all the time? Why do I think it is not okay? It gives you enough spaces of relaxation. Like you are relaxed throughout the day. You are just relaxed and you are happy and you have played that game and you have become imaginative. But in this world, Where can you put this amount of imagination? Okay, you can be an artist, you can be a painter, you can be a writer. What about earning money from a very reliable source? What about earning money from a very reliable source through which you can actually help something? Okay. Now, if you want to take yourself seriously, then listen to what I am trying to tell. Now come back. Like, if you have this amount of problem thinking that, these are the people, like, these are the only people I have to live with, I must help them out. It's okay if you have limited yourself to that space. But in today's world, you can always get to a different circle. For example, if you have been in that space for very long, as a person who has been helpful, has a bit of savior complex, is always out there, you can move out of that space and you can be with the people who are happy and who are funning around, who are enjoying their lives. You will see that the same people who run around you asking for help, like like bees, like always that buzz, like help, please help, please help, please help, you know you get to disconnect from these people, and in the long term you will see that these same people who are always sad, sick, tired, lost, they they mingle with these productive and funny and humorous people, and they continue living life like that, like a usual way. Okay. And given a chance, when they stick around with these people, these people who always need help, who are always sad, always depressed, when given a chance, they will stick around with these people, and then they will move out of that space, and they will go to the people who are always productive, almost dictator like. They are always, you know strict with their timings, they are always strict with how life should be, and they continue life like that. Given a chance, they will go back to that place, and they will do whatever it takes, whichever tool it takes, to cut out on these saviors who were with them when they needed help. But why? Is it wrong? No. As a person who is intelligent enough, me in this case, I will tell them it is not uh, a huge problem to cut out on these people. Why? Because, if I am someone who understand what life really needs, I might be just able to tell them that it's okay. It's okay. This person was very helpful to you at times, and it's okay to cut out on them sometimes and just continue with your work. So, see the problem when you are stuck in that space, right? You have some work and you want to get out, and you have some work you want to get out, and you want to help everyone, and that everyone has taken help from you. But soon they have been with these amazing people who are like funny and energetic, etc., etc. And then, because they have been doing the right things, they got back to be in that place where they will be capable of solving bigger problems in life. For example, solving the economical problems by being helpful. Okay, they will be able to solve the the problems like, you know what can I say, the problems like having a kitchen garden so that they can put less amount of pressure on agriculture and money. Then they can solve the problem by building up a community that is healthier. So these things are there. These things are there. Now, there is another view, of course, an alternate view towards everything. What is the view? The view is that if I find that, I am being that helpful towards others, okay, what is wrong in this world that is so uh, short? Life is short. You see these t-shirts telling telling you life is short. Move on, be happy. So if life is that sadistic, that nihilistic, that nothingness, then what is wrong in being a rather helpful person? There is nothing wrong. If you are thinking that because if, I mean, today, like if I were listening to this some time ago, I would have been I would have been kept away from a lot of wrong people. And when you are found with the wrong kind of people, it creates a lot of mess in your life. Now, why do you get found with the wrong people? Because in 80% of the cases, you were out there to help these people. You have been helpful throughout your life. That is not a problem. The problem is with, not being able to be in one or the other institutions in life. Which company are you working with? Which educational space are you studying with? Which kind of people are you working with in your community? Oh, you are not working. You are in a neighborhood. Are you connected to one of the other productive, resourceful, intelligent neighbors who could help you out with maybe increasing the amount of cleanliness in the neighborhood, increasing the amount of peacefulness in the neighborhood, increasing the amount of safety in the neighborhood? The people who always end up in this, you know, God forsaken category, they are the ones who started off with life in a very critical or in a very hasty or in a very negative way. They didn't take out the time to think that, this is the geographical situation of this world that I'm living in. This is the present economical situation that the world I'm living in. This is uh, the family situation that I am currently in. And they choose the wrong things and they end up there. It is, of course, a sorry state in life. And you happen to be the person who has seen these things from a very close quarters, probably from your childhood. It might also be the case that I'm really sorry to put it across, but it might be that maybe you have seen your parents being in a situation where they needed help. Okay, now if you are this person who has seen helplessness in your parents, then you might be scared of the world. That is the first thing. Then you might be scared of anything in life. Okay, you might be scared of just saying no, that I won't be able to see, I'm not the right person to help you out with this. Okay, I won't be able to tell you things because I have XYZ reasons. These problems do appear. These problems keep on appearing all the time. Now, what is it that you should be doing so that you do not run into a savior complex? Please understand that in today's modern world, where we are extremely connected and we are extremely privileged, we must see, check this with yourself. Today, if you have some illness, some sickness, what is it exactly that you do? You reach out to a doctor. Okay, if you are somebody who needs money, what is it that you do? You use one of the other resources to start to work, you know, be productive, be creative, and go to work. If you are this person who needs um who needs a community, who is alone, you just go out and you talk to anyone. I'm sure that you are not living in an island where there is no internet connection, where there is no book, where there is nothing. Like, you are not living in an island, you are living in a neighborhood, in a happy healthy neighborhood. Maybe you are poor, maybe you are just a person from the middle class society, maybe you are extremely rich, but you are not alone. Now, sometimes I have seen that there are people who have used loneliness for their own benefit. No, I'm alone, I don't have money, I'm sad, today the internet ran out, you know, like the weather, like, oh, that there was a storm just above my household, like every other household in the neighborhood was safe. Okay, every other household in the neighborhood was just safe. It was just my household that faced the storm. Or there was a huge rain in the area, and the clouds were just above my head. Not even, not like, today in the morning I was taking a walk with my mother, and this, I mean, just ask yourself, is this your situation? Like, whether you are a person who belongs to the savior complex category, or whether you are a person who always needs help, you know ask this to yourself. Like, has this been your situation, that you were out there walking with someone, and there were water, that it was raining, and it didn't rain on the person who were walking just beside you, it rained just on yourself. Is it the situation with you? No, I'm sure, right? Whatever the situation is, everybody is going through it. So are you. You must take care to get ahead of the curve, to get ahead of the people, so that you can help your family members in us. And if you think that it is that important for you to be helpful, then you can also engage in some sort of activity where you can be helpful towards your neighbors as well. Okay, now, is it that important to be helpful? It is, of course, important to be helpful, but it is very much important, more than being helpful towards others in today's life, where everything is available. Okay, like, sometimes I really feel that it is such a good thing that uh, you know costly healthcare regimes are available to people for free. Okay, people might not be capable of using it properly, but it is available, I know it. But of course, I know that there is a little bit of uh, lack of organization, there is a little bit of lack of information, but it is there. Free help is available at certain institutions, organizations. Okay, now some people make the mistake of understanding that if I am helping somebody out, pulling them out of the general fights for life, usual struggles of life, then I am being a good person. But no, you are stopping them from being a knowledgeable, workable, intelligent, and intellectual person. That is what you are doing. But when you See, there is just one way of putting a stop to something wrong, and the only way is to by instantly coming out of it. Okay, now how do you put a stop to these people? Like in my earlier videos, I have mentioned how is it that you can just say no, right? Like, hey, I need you to come with me to that place and help me figure out that thing. If it is a very close friend of yours, then I'm sure you will have a control and a grip on their reality, right? You will be able to tell them that, I don't think that on this fine day you should be whiling about. Or if they are trying to have some fun, it is okay. But let's say you notice that this person is asking you for privilege that you are not okay to give away. It's fine. Just say no. If it, like I mentioned, if it is that a good friend of yours, they will not ask you for such an untoward help, right? They will understand the boundaries of your life. They will understand that, you know, how much uh, you need to work on your life. Instead, they will be the ones to come out of their zone a bit and help you. But this is also another reality that if you end up in a savior complex, you will start to attract the wrong kind of people in your life. Why? Because you will be out of the productivity game, you will be out of work, you will be out of the good books of the right kind of people, and you will be sad and sick. Okay, and you will see whether the law of attraction works or not. I am not sure, but I am sure that the usual way of life brings you people who you do resonate with. If you resonate with the wrong kind of people, you will build a world with the wrong kind of people, and that is not an issue at all. If and if only you can put up with it, till you can put up with it. If you cannot put up with it, then maybe you, I mean, let's face it, just because you cannot put up with something, you cannot move out of that space either. Because it might be that you have built a community with these people, it might be that you have spent a lot of money to move into that neighborhood where you find comfort in. If you are the kind of person who has been a savior for a very long time, okay, helping people out with their sorry state of life, etc., etc., then you will never be comfortable with being productive and with being safe. Okay, you will not be able to bring happy things and bring happy things into reality. You will not be able to bring uh, about some justice for yourself. Why? Because you were not in the right space. You know, today, if you, like I was mentioning, how it is important to be found with the right people at the first place. Why? Because, see, today, if your parents or somebody who is careful for you wants to look out for you, if they find you with the wrong kind of people, they will, what they will try to do, the first thing, but of course in a world of fantasy, they will try to take you out of it, but they won't be able to. Why? Because you have built a community work, narrations around them. And that is the worst thing, when you build narrations around them, that that you were there because of xyz reason. See, reasons will always be there. Okay, you will have one or the other reason to be with these people, to help somebody out. Like, very recently something happened to me, that you know And it is also very interesting to understand that, um, you know, despite being that aware that I'm not going to be that open and approachable to people. I'm going to be respectful towards my boundaries. I'm going to be respectful towards what is important and what I like to do. You do end up in that space. Now, what is that space? For example, recently I was just, whiling away my time, and I was just helping somebody who even I knew that they can avail help, and they can do things by not even availing help. And my father, he mentioned that I have been noticing this thing to you. And when he noticed that this habit can do wrong things to me, then he mentioned that, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to put it across that you will be the greatest person ever, the person who has not been able to uh, make ends meet because you were doing something far more important? But when you look, see, this is also uh, great to understand that when you step out of that zone and you look at it from somebody who is trying to take you out of that place, you will be able to see that they also do have a reason. And the reason is to put a better label on you, okay, to put a better identity on you, to put a better source of happiness from you than just to be able to being there for someone. See, being there for someone is very important. Being there for someone is very important, but it is also important to being there for someone in situations of their happiness, not just in situations of their sadness. Now, I have met people who are okay with sadness. Like, there are some people who put out these wallpapers on their laptops, computers. They put out these little statuses. I love sadness. I love darkness. So do I, by the way. As a person who loves to read books, who loves to read, high fantasy, I love sadness and darkness. But what I love more is to get out there, have a sense of adventure, getting things done. And see, this way, you can even build opportunities. Okay. But when you are always stuck with another person's problem, you will always be stuck in a very wrong phase in life. You will be stuck in the past. You will be stuck in the narration. For, there, I remember there was this incident in my life um, when I was watching this movie, and it is a very popular serial, and I'm not going to mention which serial was it. It was about a female who was in a very bad situation in life. Now, when this episode of the serial ended, I thought that that thing will happen to me, and I put it across to a friend of mine. And the friend mentioned that, see, just because you are looking at something like that doesn't mean that it will happen to you. Okay. So, as a thought experiment, you can do this thing. Let's say you are this person who is surrounded by people who always ask for help, are always sad, and are always crying for help. Imagine that they are this cluster in front of you. Okay, and that, you know, and you are far away. from these people, and you cannot hear them, they cannot hear you. And it is as if there is something that is separating, like it is as if something is getting divided, separating. And the more distance you create from these people, the more you will be able to understand that they can just isolate oneself, and they can work on oneself, and they can win through life. And one day they can become your competitor. Now that is how life is. You, if you don't understand about these very usual issues in life, you will never be able to understand it tomorrow. Okay? So just wake up in the morning and make yourself, you know, make yourself happy, first of all. Have a proper routine in life. Okay? And see, when I want you to isolate from a person in serious need of help, I don't want you to isolate and, be in that zone where you are just this person who is never approachable. You should be able to tell the person that, okay, I see that you really need help. How about you go to these people? Okay, you want help? Okay, let's solve it. And then you bring about some other people, few more people, so that you don't end up alone there. If you end up alone over there, they will see there are some, first of all, people, you must understand that it is not always okay to be found out alone. Okay, because why? Because others do sense. Okay, they have a, sixth sense is real, gut feelings are real. Okay, that extra bit of knowledge that comes from nowhere but just the air around you is real. They will be able to smell that, this person is available, won't be able to complain, is isolated, and the list goes on. And they will be able to use you as a handbag, as a purse, and take money out of you, show you off. And this kind of friendships have a lot of faces. Okay, sometimes it comes in the form of uh, sometimes it comes in the form of a colleague, sometimes it comes in the form of a partner. See, when your parents are like that, if at all your parents are like that, then I can say that it is worth it. Why? Because they took the pain of giving birth to you, irrespective of what your understanding of, your relationship with your parents are. You should be able to help your parents no matter what. Take see if you think that they are acting up, they are being cranky, sad and sick, you should be able to take them to a nice place, maybe in a very relaxable zone. Maybe they need some upgrade in their life, maybe they need some time alone, maybe they need a short trip, something. Okay, but if you are not making these changes in life, then these habits of yours to be able to solve somebody else's problem will bring one after the other wrong people in your life. Now, what happens when you end up in this space? You will once again be the savior, you will continue as the savior, but eventually people will put that label on you that, she is there. You will say that those people who have been trying to put you out, they have been throwing away work, important things, maybe a fun party, maybe something, maybe a happy gathering, they will be the ones who will lose track of you, They will think that, okay, this is how she is, this is how he is, this is how the person is. Someday, the worst is that someday even your parents will think that, okay, this is what uh, she is this person. I mean, like it is our failure that we couldn't build a life like that which caters to her needs to be able to help others. See, so maybe also we must tell ourselves that while we just like you will not be able to understand whether these people are just being toxic, jealous, uh, bad with you in asking for your help. Once you are in that zone, you will not be able to understand that whether you are being a person who is seeking constant privilege. Okay, if you are a person who is seeking constant privilege and laziness, etc., etc., then you will be the one who seeks nothing but sadness, darkness, sad people, and the more sad narrations, the more sad incidents you have in life, the more it is okay to justify your uh, capability of staying away from work. So be aware. First of all, be aware of these people, and next, carry on with life as it should be.